ఇంకా వాళ్ళ అయితే ఇన్విజిలేషన్ లో వస్తుంది కదా, భీషణంగా వస్తుంది నాకైతే.
Jalababu sir.
Madam.
Sir, shall I start?
Okay, madam.
Good afternoon to all the participants. YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikluru welcomes you to the second day of our webinar. I, Dr. V. Sandhya, Head of the Department of Zoology and Organizing Secretary, extend greetings and a warm welcome to the second day of our international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences. We hope that the first day of the conference has been enriching and insightful for each one of you. Today, we are set to delve even deeper into the environmental sciences. Our aim is to foster a collaborative environment where participants can exchange ideas, share experiences, and gain valuable insights from distinguished experts in the field. Before going ahead, I request all the participants to kindly mute your mic and camera for smooth functioning of the webinar. And if you have any question during presentation, feel free to write in chat box. Your active participation contribute significantly to the success of the webinar. So let's start with the proceedings of day 2 webinar. We have an esteemed guest, Dr. Padma Dorothy ma'am, Professor of Environmental Sciences, Geetham University, Visakhapatnam with us. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. Dr. Padma Dorothy was a postdoctoral fellow and led research in European Commission funded EC projects. She worked on diversified environmental issues, and her innate interest in environmental research is noteworthy and worth appreciating. We are fortunate enough to have such an eminent personality in our midst. Now, I request Dr. Padma Dorothy ma'am to give her greetings. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sandhya. I'm quite elated to see you after a very long time. And
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I'd like to correct you that I'm not in the Department of Environmental Sciences, but in the Department of Biotechnology in Geetham.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry,
Uh,
ma'am.
It's engineering biotechnology.
Okay, ma'am.
So at the outset, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this international webinar. And I do appreciate their efforts in organizing this international webinar, especially on research methodology to be applied for research in environmental sciences. Because it's very important actually to get the methodology correct and accurate right from data acquisition, analysis, and evaluation. So this is really a very good topic, especially because we see lot of improvement in techniques that can be used and applied. As Dr. Sandhya has mentioned, I've been very fortunate to be associated with a international project funded by the Commission for European Countries, where we have worked in the Kakinada Bay Estuary Complex and also in the mangroves there. It's a Koringa mangroves, it's a sanctuary. We have actually gone all over the place, almost, inch by inch. It has been, I mean, it's an extended project for more than 3 years. We have collected a lot of data, compared it with the previous available data for the same area. We have, even though, of course, there's not much change in the biota because of the conserved nature of that area, there have been changes in the water quality. There have been changes in the number of species, biological species available. And we have also identified that there is a lot of impact of man-made activities because of the identification of several human pathogenic bacteria in the waters. So, these changes need to be studied if we are to conserve our environment. And especially, actually, I would like to impress upon the organizers to let this information percolate down to the level of the students, make them interested in taking up studies related to environment, equip themselves with the latest technologies available. I would also like to mention that I have undergone training in remote sensing in Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Dehradun, and I have also carried out a project in the Patri Reserve Forest in Haridwar, working on the land use and land changes. So it's very important for the students, because it's their future we are talking about, to actually pursue such type of courses where they'll be equipped with the latest methodology. In fact, I would like to mention that in Dehradun, there is the Forest Reserve, Forest Research Institute and Wildlife Institute, and Indian Institute for Remote Sensing. They offer a lot of courses for students, both engineering as well as master's courses. Actually, they have the Indian Institute for Remote Sensing actually offers a lot of training programs, short-term training programs, which faculty also can attend. Equip yourself with remote sensing techniques, GIS applications, and because these are used now for everywhere, right from urban planning to coastal zone management. Remote sensing and GIS are being used. So it's very important to learn these techniques, apply these techniques locally, and conserve our environment. It's first and foremost, it's also important because we are stewards of the environment, not we are not here to abuse or exploit our environment, whether it's the abiotic component or the biotic component. So I really appreciate the organizers and administration of YVN Degree College Kaikaluru for organizing such a webinar. But this information has gone to the level of students. That's what I would like to emphasize upon. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to associate with this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am, for
madam.
such an uplifting opening remarks to start our second day webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Without taking much time, let me invite Srimati Y. Gnanaprasanamba, Head of the Department of Botany and Joint Secretary of this webinar, to introduce our speaker, Dr. Arul Manikandan, Postdoctoral Fellow, Dublin City University, Dublin, Ireland.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to everybody. It is a great privilege for me to stand before you as a joint secretary of this prestigious international webinar to introduce the young and dynamic scientist, Dr. Arul Manikandan. Dr. Arul Manikandan is a chemical engineer with specialization in biochemical engineering. He has working as a postdoctoral research fellow at Dublin City University, Ireland. He is passionate researcher since 2014 and he has received his PhD from IIT Guwahati and has around 3 years of post-PhD experience. His thesis got Best Dissertation Award from Kamaraj College, India and runner-up award in University Malaya. His research primarily focuses on bio-valorization of waste, meaning conversion of waste materials into value-added materials through bioprocessing techniques. He has authored and co-authored more than 30 articles and 5 book chapters in well-reputed journals and books, respectively. His talk will focus on producing compostable packaging materials produced from seaweed found in Ireland. Sir, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I welcome Arul Manikandan, sir, to deliver his lecture. Arul, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, ma'am. So I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know whether it is getting shared or not. So,
Dr. Jalababu, sir.
is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's very visible.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks a lot, ma'am. So really, I'm so glad that by listening to all the introduction that's given by Professor Sandhya ma'am and Professor Dorothy ma'am, Padma ma'am, it's very encouraging and to be in the part of a international seminar where the students is in the center and we are all working for the welfare and the upliftment of the students. To listen to all these things, it really gives an encouragement for me to be in the in this present seminar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, with that, I would like to start my presentation. Actually, this part of work at the moment, as introduced by Jnana ma'am, I'm in Dublin City University. But the work I'm doing now, it's a patent protected work. So I'm going to disclose another part of work which I did it recently in another university called the University of Galway or NUA Galway. So I will be focusing that this has environmental compound, how we are turning a microalgal biomass which is being wasted in the ocean and how we can produce edible and non-edible packaging films. Just imagine this way that you are going to a supermarket this morning, and and you are finding some food products, and the food product is enveloped by a packaging film, and you can actually consume the packaging film, and this packaging film is going to give you some immunity to your body, and it is going to give some taste to your tongue. Can you imagine such a kind of packaging film? So my work is that I'm going to present today is that kind of work, which is entitled Sustainable Biorefining and Bioprocessing of Marine Macroalgae to produce edible and non-edible, both the edible and non-edible packaging films to combat plastic pollution. So I know the audience may be diverse and the title itself heavily worded. So I'm going to explain more on the title first in the beginning. So biorefining, by the term biorefining, what I mean is, you all might have known the petroleum refinery, wherein the crude oil is been given as feedstock and diverse petrochemicals are produced. In biorefinery, we mimic the same process, wherein instead of crude oil, we take biomass like leaves, plants, and different waste that is derived from the agro-industrial waste. We take those biomass and fractionate biochemicals out of it, and these biochemicals are processed in a biological way using microbes or any other organism to produce a diverse spectrum of products, so that we are trying to reduce the waste here, because taking one product, using it and discarding it, it's a linear economy. But whereas here we are trying to take as much as possible from the biomass, and we promote circular economy here, and these are all done under a title called blue bioeconomy. So the blue bioeconomy in itself means, so the biomass, if you're going to use a normal biomass, say the plants or the rice straw or those things which is found on the planet, or to say in the land, then it is a bioeconomy. But since I'm going to use macroalgal biomass, which is from it's an aquatic biomass. So this term, we call it as blue bioeconomy. And this working on this blue bioeconomy or economy is really encouraging to me for 4 reasons. Firstly, it reduces the land use. All the war that we are seeing here, in Ukraine and Russia, or Israel and Palestinian war, they're all to occupy other countries' land. That's also, we can see it from this graph, where we can see Netherlands in itself needs 7.3 times of its land mass to meet their own residence demand. And if you come to India needs 2.7 times of its land mass. And as the world itself, we can see 1.8 times of world is needed to meet the demands, the food requirements of the people, those who are residing at the moment. But as we all know, we have only one world. So the next opportunity that we have, or option that we have in hand, is that 2/3 of the biosphere is made of ocean. So I'm trying to focus or tap the resource from the ocean to meet the global demand that we have to feed the people in every country all around the globe. Secondly, reduce the fossil fuel dependency. Most of the packaging films that is coming now are from the petroleum based feedstock, and as you all know, petroleum based feedstock are, firstly, it is exhaustible, it is going to get exhausted soon. Secondly, as we are using these crude oil resources, it increases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and you must be knowing that all these are giving, it's changing, the global warming is happening. And I think now it already turned to global heating, it seems. Before it goes to global burning, all the leaders are looking, to put the temperature less than 2 degrees Celsius. So in that way also, this blue bioeconomy activity, when we use seaweed, instead of polluting the atmosphere with carbon dioxide, this seaweed, to produce 1 ton of seaweed, as I have denoted here, it takes up 120 kgs of carbon dioxide. So it is environmentally viable as well. Thirdly, empower this blue bioeconomy activities, it empowers coastal communities. Oftentimes you can see most of the the people, those are living in the coastal region, they are left behind. Their welfare or the well-being is not noticed properly. But if we are going to promote such activity, blue bioeconomy activities, not only limiting ourselves with fishing or with pearl harvesting, but encouraging this macroalgal growth, will really help the coastal community, particularly in a country like Ireland, where I'm doing this project. You can see the Ireland's ocean space is 10 times as its land space, And all around Ireland, you can see the coastal communities are enveloped, and we believe that such a project will promote the well-being of the coastal communities. Finally, it will really, it's proven to empower the woman. For example, in my own place, actually, I'm from Tamil Nadu. After the tsunami, World Health Bank, they have come up with this initiative of seaweed squats, where they are educating the women's, the most of the time men's go for deep diving, women's are left in the home. But the World Bank, it offered this scheme of seaweed squats. They were trained to cultivate seaweed, and they are getting their monetary gain. And there are testimonies that these women are getting self-independent. They are becoming independent, and they are running their lives. So this gives me the encouragement. And the research gap is that, as it is shown here, in Ireland, we have large ocean space. Not only in Ireland, all over the world, we have large ocean space. Even in India, we have ocean space where we can tap into. But as Padma ma'am rightly told, this we have to be stewards for the environment and not to be an abuser. But most of the time, what happens in the ocean is abused by treating it as a sink, to drain wastewater, or 20% of plastics that's been produced by petroleum is getting into the ocean. It harms the ocean life. It harms the coastal community as well. But now the seaweed comes up as a solution by saying that, use me. So how we can use seaweed? We can derive plastic. Instead of deriving plastic from crude oil, we can derive plastic from seaweed. Using this plastic from seaweed, it's actually biodegradable, so it's not going to end up in the ocean, and it is going to promote the well-being, our health, that I will be showing in the next slides. So this is the research gap, and the aim of the present project is to diversify the scope of blue bioeconomy by increasing more value by producing edible and non-edible packaging film. So for this, I have focused three key objectives. One is to extract this compound called ulvan. Ulvan is a sulfated polysaccharide, which has its own benefits. It's a high value compound that is derived from the macroalgal biomass. This ulvan, after doing some chemical reaction, it can be turned into edible ulvan film, which can be used for packaging, and along with the package, you can consume it so that it will bring immune power to your body as well. Finally, as you can see, all the edible packaging film, if a food is packed with an edible material, it can't lie just like that in a supermarket. It has to be enveloped in a non-edible packaging film as well. So in this present project, I'm going to say how we can get both the edible as well as the non-edible packaging film just by using macroalgal biomass as a single-handed solution. So this is the overall scheme. For you to understand, since we have diverse listeners, or to say participants, audience for this particular seminar, I will make it clear in the first place what I'm doing. So this ulvan is taken from the pristine coast. In the comments also, I can see some people have already commented algal blooms are so harmful. Yes, it is very harmful if you choose the ocean space, which is already polluted by wastewater. But there are certified ocean space, which is called as pristine coast. Means the algae that you are sourcing from that particular space is meant to be pure, and it's meant to be healthy. So that ulva, or to say this green macroalgal biomass, is taken, and we introduce a new step called citric acid based extraction. Citric acid is the normal that you can find it, in lemon and so on. So we extract this ulvan, and we cross-link it with citric acid. Ulvan is soluble in water. So it has to be, to make a packaging film, it has to be cross-linked first, and it needs to be plasticized. So cross-link is done by same citric acid, and the plasticization is done by xylitol. So finally, we get an edible packaging film. We can spray coat on the fruits. And once we extract the ulvan, that's a high-value compound, there is also something called ulvan-free biomass. Means the thing which is remaining waste, those ulvan-free biomass is taken through dark fermentation. Dark fermentation is a process wherein bacteria are grown anaerobically, means there is no oxygen at all. When we grow in that condition, it produces a carbon source, which can again be used in a process called aerobic fermentation, meaning oxygen is given to produce a polymer called polyhydroxyalkanine films. This can be covered on the outer shell. So it brings the two packs. How we have Tetra Pak in the market, all our milk bottles are made of Tetra Pak. So we are devising, or I'm announcing a product called Combo Pack, wherein the food is its shelf life is getting extended. And this, as I told in the upcoming slides, I will be showing how these edible films are it's enhancing your the immunity. So quickly diving into the topic. So how we extract the citric acid, this I disclosed last year, but I'll give us some touch this year also. So I'm using this vulva, which is a green biomass from Ireland, from the pristine coast of Ireland. I've tried both the folious vulva, which is like a braid, and the filamentous vulva. So this vulva species, it has this high value compound called ulvan, and this ulvan is extracted by the tricarboxylic acid compound called citric acid, which is very healthy, and you can find it in all citrus fruits. Okay, so whenever we are introducing a new extraction procedure, there are several parameters that needs to be optimized. Even so, in my case, I have optimized the extraction temperature, the ulva load, time, and citric acid concentration, and I found the 7th experimental run, particularly 90 degrees Celsius is needed, and so on. So 4-hour time is needed to get an ulvan yield of 0.4 gram for every gram of macroalgal biomass. So this I have optimized, and we found that all the ulvan that we got from extracted using citric acid are the conventional procedure like HCl based extraction, acid based extraction, or water based extraction. Everything matched very well with the commercial vulvan. So this gives me an encouragement to proceed with my research. And this also says the proton NMR as well as the FKR spectra clearly denotes that the peak, the vulvan spectrum that I have extracted using citric acid matched very well with the commercial vulvan. You can see all the sulfate groups, carboxyl group, and hydroxyl group, everything is manifested over there. So there are several studies which says this vulvan itself can be used, as a compound to boost your immunity. As you can see, a Nature paper, a cell discovery paper says that sulfated polysaccharide can be used to inhibit even SARS-CoV-2. So it can be used as a standalone product, but my focus is not to use on this. I'm trying to use, as I told in the title slide, I'm biorefining the macroalgal biomass using citric acid and biologically processing it to get the ulvan, which is an edible film and a non-edible film. So this is a dual packaging film concept that we are developing here in Ireland. So why I'm actually interested in this thing is, in India, the scenario may be different, but in Ireland, you can see, to discard your waste, first of all, in the first place, you have to give something called bin charge. There you are getting, your money is getting lost. Then in Ireland, the compost or the gardening is very much famous in Ireland. So to buy your own compost, then again you are spending money there. So if you are going to invent such a packaging film, which can be composted, and which is really, it's going to boost your immunity, and which increase the shelf life, which is really a win-win situation. With this hypothesis, we started our work, and the vulvan, which is extracted using citric acid, cross-linked by, the same citric acid is used for cross-linking, and xylitol is used for plasticization. You can see in the FKR spectra, the vulvan is there, then vulvan plus xylitol is there. Both the spectrum remains so same, but when citric acid comes into the picture for cross-linking, we are getting something called the ester formation. This ester proves that packaging film is formed. Means the edible film, which is water soluble, it's no more water soluble because of the cross-linking process. So this packaging, edible packaging film is so much interesting to me because, as you can see, the gut bacteria, the gut bacteria which is there inside our gut bacteria, means the gut-friendly bacteria like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, all those bacteria are really enhanced. There is the control process, vulvan xylitol, and vulvan xylitol citric acid. Sorry, sir.
కొజ్జా ఇచ్చారా ఎవరు కొజ్జా అంటాను మొత్తం తగులుకుని మళ్ళా మా నేను అండేదమ్మా స్వామి వాళ్ళని ఎట్ట అంటావు నువ్వు నాశనం అయిపోవాలి ఇప్పుడు చచ్చిపోలేదు వాడు మా మచ్చ వాళ్ళ అన్నకు ఫోన్ చేసినాడు ఇట్లంతా సబ్మిట్ పెడతాను అనేసి వాళ్ళు ఒక నిమిషం కూర్చేసినారు ఆమె ఫోన్ చేసింది ఎవరికి.
Perfect. Okay. So as you can see, there is a vulvan film and vulvan with xylitol, vulvan, xylitol, and citric acid. I've got 4 different packaging films here. So the gut friend
వెంకటేష్
Sir, excuse me, sir.
ఈ
M. Ganesh,
పంచి
please,
దెయ్యం గీసాడు.
please mute.
పొలచలప్పుడు గుమ్మని పిల్లి అన్నాడు ఒక అన్న.
Excuse me, sir. M. Ganesh, please mute your mic. చేస్తాను, అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే. Sir, Arul sir, please continue, sir.
Arul sir, please continue, sir.
Arul sir, please unmute. Continue, sir.
Okay, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. So, like, I don't know when it has got unmuted, but I will start from this slide. So this slide says that the edible packaging film that we developed, it promotes the good bacteria in your gut system, and it harms the pathogenic bacteria like E. coli and SRS. So that's what I was saying. And if you're going to promote such good bacteria in gut, there are several research which says that the bacterial composition which is there in brain also, it gets modified, and it helps for the overall well-being of any human system. It also really, as I told before, it boosts our immunity system. This is just a graph that shows that, the lactobacillus species, how this different ulven, it controls, the different percentage of good bacterium like lactobacillus or bifidobacterium is enhanced by the addition of ulven, which is a edible packaging film. So once we have completed, first I have started by saying citric acid can be used for ulven extraction, and this ulven can be cross-linked by citric acid, the same citric acid, and it can be plasticized to produce edible packaging film. And now I'm going to, once you extract the ulven, there is something comes out of the product as a waste, which is ulven-free biomass. This biomass is taken through dark fermentation. Dark fermentation is the process wherein we parch nitrogen to remove all the oxygen. So this is done. It is like all the gobar gas production process that you have in your home. But the only difference is that in your gobar gas production process, methane is produced by methanogenic bacteria. But in dark fermentation, I will be showing you, we are using Clostridial species to get this carbon source that can be used by another set of bacteria called Cuprioides nicator to produce a packaging film. And that packaging film is not consumable, but rather it is meant to extend the shelf life of our food products. So this is the, the VFA means volatile fatty acid. As you can see, this dark fermentation is meant not to produce so much gas. As you can see, only carbon dioxide is there mostly, but we can see a lot of different acids, acetic acid, propionic acid. So these acids are produced by this species called Clostridiales, or more specifically Clostridium species and Oxobacter species. These bacteria produce this volatile fatty acid. And once this volatile fatty acids is produced, which is in the liquid stream, which is taken by a bacteria called Cuprioides nicator by an aerobic process. Again, I'm saying it, dark fermentation needs no oxygen. It needs, all oxygen has to be removed. In this project, we pump in oxygen to produce a polymer, and this polymer is called polyhydroxyalkanoates. And you can see we produce the polymer, and the polymer is the extracted polymer. Means by using this C. nicator bacteria, we produced the polymer, and the polymer, the characterization of the polymer by FTER as well as proton NMR, it very well matched all the methyl group and carboxyl group over there, and ester bonds. These are all very much relevant, which is there in the commercial PHB, was once again mimicked in the extracted PHA as well. And the thermal analysis showed the melting point is closely, it's around 150 to 160 degrees Celsius for both the commercial commercial polyhydroxybutyrate as well as for your the extracted PHB. So finally, this may be, the project may be a bit elaborate, but if I have to conclude it here, the project, you can clearly say, can somebody say how many more minutes I have here? Please.
Can carry on, sir.
So just roughly how much more minutes, ma'am?
You can take up to 10 minutes, sir.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Yeah, that's what. So I will take a bit more time here because this is very much, I'm going to condense the entire information here. You can see the ulva species feedstock, which is being taken 100 gram. If I take it, I'm adding citric acid and water, which is essential amount. I'm getting ulvan, which is esterified and plasticized by means of citric acid and xylitol. Finally, after class linking, we dry it to get this edible packaging film. For every 100 gram of ulva biomass, the macroalgal biomass that we are getting from the ocean, we are almost getting 32 grams of edible packaging films, which can be used to envelop your burger, or it can be used to envelop any of your fast food products. It's going to really boost your immunity because of the presence of ulvan in the first place, and it's going to boost your gut bacteria because of the presence of citric acid. And it is really delicious because this xylitol is a sweetener. So you can have all these components together. I still remember my mother when I was, in my childhood. She's an educated mom, but I have this fear of taking tablets. So what she does is she mixes the tablet with the sugar, and then she provides it to me so that I take it easily. I found I'm doing the same thing here. So this ulvan is it boosts the immunity, but it is not so sweet in nature, or it doesn't give any taste actually. So in order to bring some taste to it, we added this xylitol or sweetener. So this is an edible packaging film, which you can eat it. But if you prefer not to eat it, you can discard it always to the environment. That will become a compost, and you can get rid of the money, that you are paying for, to buy the compost, that thing. And once this ulvan is extracted, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can carry up to 340, sir.
Minutes, ma'am. Can you please say the minutes? Sorry.
So,
Actually, the time is
20 minutes, sir. 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, 20 minutes, sir.
Okay. Actually, I'm towards the end of this thing, but still, I will try. So yeah, this is okay. So this is where it gets more interesting, because once most of the project that you are that we are trying to produce ulvan, or that's been reported in the literature, they produce this ulvan compound and they just discard the other as a waste material. But in our project, as I told in the first place, we are trying to make it as a biorefinery concept. Biorefinery concept means whatever the compounds that is coming out of the process, we are trying to use it as a feedstock for another process, and thereby we are trying to mimic a petroleum refinery here, but with another name called biorefinery. So this ulvan-free biomass that is coming out is taken through dark fermentation. In dark fermentation, we add nitrogen and clostridial species. Only 2.53 gram of carbon dioxide comes out of the system, and this can be used for to bottling your soda bottles, or all the carbonated waters that you are having. We can use this carbon dioxide because carbon dioxide can be used in that way, and then the liquid portion that we are getting from the dark fermentation can be used in an aerobic fermentation, where we add the necessary minerals, and we add oxygen, so that the bacteria called Cuprea venus nicator produce another polymer. First, we produced an edible packaging film. Now we are producing another packaging film called polyhydroxybutyrate, which is a non-edible packaging film. So that's what we are essentially, we are ending up, we are taking one single feedstock, and that one single feedstock goes through different process to give us edible packaging film and non-edible, both non-edible packaging film. As you can see, the edible packaging film content is 32.4 grams, but whereas the polyhydroxybutyrate, which is a non-edible packaging film, is only 0.78 gram. If you start with 100 gram, you are getting only 0.78 gram, which is really meaningful because the edible packaging film is the one which we need a lot, to coat to make the food more dense, to make the food more delicious. We need more edible packaging film. But this non-edible packaging film are like, we just need 0.02 all the the polyethylene bags that you are finding it in the supermarket. They are not so what to say, they don't weigh so much. Just 0.02 grams, 0.2 grams is enough. So what I'm concluding is the ratio that we are finding between the edible packaging films and the non-edible packaging films are really meaningful there, because we need a very little amount of non-edible packaging film and more amount of edible packaging film to meet the consumer demands. So with this, what I would like to conclude is, as how we have Tetra Pak, which is in the market for food. We are, though it's just a proof of concept study, I'm approaching there. We are using this marine macroalgal biomass, which is most of the time it is not used. Even if it is used, this macroalgal biomass, only one single component is extracted. For example, alginate is used. Many microbiology people may be here, they will be using alginate for their experiments, and alginate is used in different process. So only certain product is used, and most of the material are discarded. But in our case, we are producing that particular element, which is ulvan, for edible packaging film, which is really boosting the gut friendly microbiota, as I have told you, as I have shown you just now. And the ulvan free biomass, which is considered as waste, which is treated as a refuse material, I'm going to use it and produce polyhydroxyalkanates through a process called dark fermentation and aerobic fermentation to produce polyhydroxyalkanates. So by which I'm getting both the combo packs, and that is meant to reduce the food spoilage, and it will increase the shelf life of the product. And eventually it is meant to to not to go into the ocean, and it's actually it's biodegradable, so you can use it for your gardening activities. So such an innovative solution, I believe this present project, it really boosts up the Ireland's maritime sector, not only in Ireland. So as we scale up this process, eventually it is also meant to help India and other developing countries as well. So this is really, as this project is funded by SFI, which is Science Foundation Ireland. I'm focusing on Ireland and blue bio to enrich the blue bioeconomy activities in Europe, but it can be scaled up in the rest of the parts of the world. So with this, I would really like to thank for all your patience, and all the results that I have disclosed here is it's recently published here in different well-reputed journals. You can always go through that, and if you have any queries, please let me know. I will be super happy to assist you, or to guide you in different aspects. I will be really happy. As Padma ma'am said, it's my duty. We are all working for the well-being of the students, or the for the it's a student-centered research. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I wanted to always do. So in any way, if you feel that I will be helpful, please always consider involving me in your activities. And finally, I would like to conclude this presentation with this message: seaweed is really an ocean's own solution. As I told before, we are trying to pollute the ocean, but the ocean itself offers a solution by means of seaweed, which can be used for its healing and for our sustenance. So with this, I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank Lord Jesus, because many a time during the course of this research, I felt many times went through different difficult times, but in all the time I could have some encouragement, and I thank Jesus for helping me to do this research, and I thank Professor Pete Lenz for helping me, who is my mentor over here, and all my lab mates, and I thank the Irish taxpayers for funding me and keeping me here in Ireland. So with this, I would like to thank you all for giving a passion listening for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation on your valuable insights on sustainable biorefining and bioprocessing of marine alga, especially on extraction of marine polysaccharide ulvan from green microalgae. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's open for discussion. If you have any questions, dear participants, if you have any questions, you can ask our sir. Our Arul sir is ready to answer your questions. So if there are no questions, let's proceed to the next program, to the next lecture. Thank you, sir. Once again, Arul sir, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Now we'll switch on to the next lecture by Dr. Jaswant, Technion Postdoctoral Fellow, Faculty of Civil Engineering, Technion, Israel Institute, Israel. I request Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, Lecturer in Zoology and Joint Secretary of this international webinar, to introduce our speaker.
Good evening, everybody. I take this opportunity to introduce our next resource person, Dr. Jaswant Gangolu. He is a resident of Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. Completed his bachelor degree at Department of Civil Engineering, Andhra University College of Engineering. Following his graduate studies, he pursued a direct PhD program at Department of Civil Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. After obtaining his PhD, he served as a postdoctoral researcher at the IIT Madras before joining as assistant professor in Department of Civil Engineering at Aditya Engineering College, Surampalam. In 2023, Dr. Jashwant accepted an offer and is currently serving as Technion postdoctoral fellow in the Faculty of Civil Engineering at Technion Israel Institute, Israel. His research is structural engineering, focuses on high strain dynamic loading on structures, including impact and blast scenarios. Over the past 2 years, he has been demonstrating remarkable productivity, publishing 7 science-cited index articles in top journals, with 4 out of them are boosting an impressive impact factor of 8.1 and a cumulative impact factor of 41.9. This is a brief introduction about our research person, Dr. Jashwant, and I now invite Dr. Jashwant to enlighten us with his topic, a comprehensive guide for crafting a sustainable research paper. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Doctor, for the brief introduction about me. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Video is also clear, ma'am.
Yes, brother, it is audible. Sorry, yes, sir, it's audible.
Yeah. Dr. Arul, thank you for the presentation. It's I'm very happy to see you here. So, yeah, I would like to continue with my presentation. I would like to share my screen.
Okay, sir.
Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the introduction about me. So I am Dr. Jaswant Gangolu, currently working as a Technion postdoctoral fellow in the Faculty of Civil Engineering in Technion Israel Institute of Technology. So yeah, I would like to continue with my presentation. If there is any disturbance in between, like my the disturbance in my voice or video or in the slides, please interrupt me. That's okay for me.
Sure, sir.
So today I would like to give a general talk on a comprehensive guide to crafting a sustainable research paper. And if you go to the subtopic will be like tips and strategies for effective academic paper. So nowadays, we all know that the research is being given a great importance even in our country. I guess in near future, or maybe it's already in the process, maybe I'm not sure. In near future, government will allow a notification or some guidelines to all the faculty to wear doctorates or to write a research paper, maybe yearly this many or something like that. So because the research really helps for the economy of the country, and also it helps for the development of the country. So as a academicians, like many people have joined, I thank everyone who joined here. So it's very important to have a good strategy in writing how to write a good research paper. since this guest lecture is related to environmental sciences and sustainability, so I would like to give a general talk on these topics. Yeah. So why research papers are important? It's an advancement of knowledge, one thing, and I don't want to read each and everything, but you can see in the slides. Mainly it is for academic and professional development, as you are also looking for this. So the research papers gives a good academic and also professional development in your career and also to the college where you're working on. So what is sustainable research? So if you ask this question, it is in simple words, I would like to explain. It is creating a long-term solution for whatever is the topic you choose. It is creating a long-term solution, and it should be enduring. That means it should be sustaining, and also it should be meaningful in the whatever the particular field you choose, whatever, whether it comes to chemistry or sciences or physics or whatever it is, it should give a long-term solution. Okay. So for example, if you ask me an example, I can say a solution for Delhi pollution. The Delhi pollution has a lot of consequences in terms of health, in terms of, it really, obstructs many things. For example, recently I was traveling from Delhi to Israel, and there is a huge smog in Delhi, where the traffic was interrupted. And also we saw that many flights are delayed, and you would have seen in the news also, many flights are delayed and many issues were happening between passengers and the airport authorities. So some solution should be given to the Delhi pollution. That is one example I would like to give. And also you should give something like a public health precautionary, which should sustain in the long term. And also you should use something like artificial intelligence and machine learning in your fields. Nowadays, if you observe the scenario, artificial intelligence and machine learning is one of the rich topic to the entire of the to the edges of the world. So we should focus on that. Always doing the same stuff or doing the same research which somebody has done and reproducing the result and writing the paper, that really don't give a much what we call much development or much. It's not a much professionalism also. So it is always you should use the new techniques which are available currently, and we should use them in your field, so that the reach will be more and more. For example, if you take a chemistry people or chemical engineering people, there are a lot of research which is happening on the drug for COVID. That is one of the most sustaining topic right now. Even if you write a small paper or maybe some review paper on those stuffs, that really have a good consideration from the journals. So we should think in that way, that so that the topic should be new, and it should create more and more long-term solutions and meaningful solutions in your studies. So what is the significance of crafting a sustainable research paper? There are many things you can see in the slide. One major thing is like it gives a good reputation to the to your institute. For example, you can take in our India, there are well-known universities or IITs or some research centers which are in our India. The main reason, because it is well known, is they do a very good research. So that gives a good boost to your institution, and that also helps more and more for the publicizing of your institution, especially in terms of research. So that's the reason nowadays, it's mandatory for faculty to publish a paper in some colleges. If not, they are even removing those faculties from their job or whatever. Especially it is practiced in Western countries. If you don't have paper, you don't get a what we call a promotion. You don't get a salary hike. or it will be like, a problematic, especially in Western countries. I believe that maybe in next 5 to 10 years, that notion will come even in our country. So always the research paper importance is increasing day by day. So as an academicians, it is our responsibility to focus on research papers that gives a good impact on your career. One thing that helps you to build your profile, and also it helps in your institution recognition also. Yeah. So what are the key components of a research paper? It's a generalized topic, as I have already mentioned previously. It's a very generalized topic, so it can be applicable to everyone. Since I am from a civil engineering background, maybe I cannot able to bring the things which are in your field, but this topic is relevant to everyone, irrespective of the fields. So key components of a research paper: title, abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion, and references. Everyone knows this stuff. There is nothing new about it. The reason why I have highlighted this few bullet points in red color is they really help. They really help in writing your paper. For example, if you take title, abstract, and conclusion, these should be much attractive, and these should match in the the scope of the journal. Because when you submit a paper to some journal which is under your scope, like the aim and scope should be, let's say if you take environmental sciences, let's take some environmental sciences journal and then submit it. Okay, when editor sees your paper, the first thing he sees is like your title initially. He reads your abstract and conclusion. That is the main thing. He don't go through the all paper. He don't have that much of time. He usually go through these 3 points, and then he decides whether to consider this paper for the review or not. So this should be much more attractive. It doesn't mean that the rest of the paper could be like anything. No, the rest of the paper also should be good, but you should give a more preference to these content, like your title, abstract, and conclusion. For example, if you are taking environmental sciences journal, let's say, so you should include something relevant words which is related to that journal in your title or in abstract or in your conclusions, so that is more relevant to that journal. And I believe that editor may be impressed with those stuff. So I'll just show one aspect of the abstract. Usually abstract can be written in some words, but nowadays the graphical abstract is much more advanced. I mean, it's been following for many years, but graphical abstract is much more, popular nowadays. They are looking for graphical abstract. For example, I'll just go through a slide. So this is a graphical abstract. There is a study in the Journal of Environmental Research by Kolluru et al. 2021. In addition to the abstract, which he has written with 200 or 300 words, he has provided this graphical abstract also. By looking into this graphical abstract, you can easily understand what is the content of the paper. For example, if you see the pictures here, he has done something related to COVID, especially in top cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and things like that. And from the right side of the picture, you can see that he has given a graph, and also in the down part, he has given some bar chart. So you can easily find out that he has found out the air quality index in terms of lockdown, and also in terms of not having lockdown. So it's a very good, interesting study. That's what I was trying to say in the previous also. If you do some research related to COVID, it's a hot cake, like 1 year or 2 years back. So at that time, whatever work you do, a little bit related to that stuff, it can be easily published. So always we should look into the journal, or we should look into the topic which is more relevant in the current time, so that the chances of publishing the paper is very high. And from this abstract, we can easily understand what is the content of the paper, and it gives very good impression about your paper. So it is always the abstract should be very attractive, and if you provide graphical abstract, that gives very good impression about your paper. Yeah. So what are some sustainable research practices? For example, it's a general slide. You should always, when you are writing the paper, one suggestion that I always get or I always give to many people is like, you should quote a recent literature review. For example, you would have done your PhD some 10 years ago. Let's say you would have written your thesis some 10 years ago. If you use the same literature review for your current paper after 10 years, that will not give a good impression on your paper. You should use the recent literature. The reason why you should use the recent literature is that shows that you are updated with your research. That gives an impression to the editor or the reader that, okay, this paper is something new, and he has quoted or cited many recent literature, and it gives a very good impression on your paper. I have seen a paper like from a faculty from IIT. He's a well-known faculty. I don't want to tell his name. He has submitted a paper with some of his colleagues from another college, and I got that review. And in that paper, the citations are with 1970s or 1980s, which is very old. And I have told directly to them that this is not a good thing. You should modify it with new citations, like recently updated citations in your research field. So they have changed it. So this is a very good input that you should try to understand and follow in your research paper. And also you should have a proper citation and referencing. For example, I have written here an example, Gangolu et al. 2023. Many people even don't know where to use at all, where not to use at all, and things like that. Especially those who are new to academia or research, for them at least this is useful. Many people might have already have an idea, but I am sharing this thing with the new people who don't have an idea. So if the authors are 2 or more, then you should use at all. For example, my name is Jashwant Gangolu. My surname is Gangolu. So the last name should be considered. So it should not be Jashwant Gangolu at all. It should be Gangolu et al. 2023. If my authors are 2 or more. If only 2 authors, it should be like Gangolu and Sharma. So Sharma is the second author. If it is only one author, it should be like Gangolu 2023. So we should know the difference where to use this citation, because this also give a good impression on your paper. If you couldn't able to do it properly with this type of referencing or proper citation, that really gives a bad impression on your paper. And also you should use some citation tools like Mendeley or Google Scholar. So I have given the logos of the Mendeley and Google Scholar. Mendeley is a very good software where you can store your papers and you can use your Word file to directly cite them. Usually I use Google Scholar. Maybe at the end of the presentation, I will show you how to cite a paper from the Google Scholar. It is actually beneficiary to every one of you. And also here, when you are writing a paper, like the practice should be, the methodology should be replicable. For example, whatever the work that which you are doing, it should be replicable in the sense, by reading your paper, some reader can continue that work or do something excess to the work which you have already done. It should be like that. It should not be like, clumsy. It should not be like misunderstanding or miscommunicating. It should not be like that. It should be replicable and it should be transparent, so that the new readers, whoever is reading your paper, may able to replicate whatever the work you have done in excess to that. So that is how our research paper should be like. Many times it's sad to know that I met a lady who is an elderly lady in Israel. She is the one who gets research papers, to review. And many times she get many journal papers from India. And one thing she complained about that is the English which they use is not really that much good. That is one complaint. Of course, maybe our nativity and things like that, that could be a problem. But that can be solved by using some tools. I'll be explaining in the next slide. But the presentation or our language of conveying the results is very much important actually when you are writing the paper. Yeah. So some writing techniques. So I have already told you should have a clarity when you're writing the paper, and it should be not generalized, words. It should be using technical words, whatever the research which you do, or let's say you have done the experiment. It should not be like a very generalized way of writing. It should include some technical words. The reason why I am focusing on technical words is since you are a researcher, you have done some experiments, you have experience with the experiments. If you are not using technical words, it get an impression that you are not really into the research and you are not good at your experiments or something like that. You will get that kind of impression. So it is always better to have use technical words, more and more technical words. And also you can use, you have to use a very good effective language, and you can use ChatGPT. It's a funny way of displaying ChatGPT. I just kept CatGPT. It's a funny way. Don't misunderstand me. So you can use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one good tool for rephrasing your English. Usually, what I do is like I write my stuff with the technical terms, and for a good improvement of the language, I go to ChatGPT and then copy paste it there, and I ask ChatGPT, please rephrase it with a good English or something like that, so that he can give a very good, English. Yeah, sometimes ChatGPT gives irrelevant information also. You should be very careful, but ChatGPT should not be used for a whole paper. You have to put your effort initially and then take advantage of that. That is only suggestion, but I am not saying that you should use that. Okay. And there should be a structuring in the paragraphs and sentence. Many times it is very sad sometimes to see that people don't know even to structure a paper in the Word format. It should not be clumsy. It should not be zigzag. It should be structured. For example, if you look into a person uh, who wears uniform properly, you will get a good impression upon him, right? Likewise, if your document is properly formatted and the sentences are structured, it gets a good impression on your paper. If it is like zigzag, and if it is misunderstanding or not really good in shape, definitely it gets a bad impression, and there are high chances of rejecting such papers. So structuring the paragraphs and sentence is very much important. And also you should use the same type of font for your headings or your paragraph. Sometimes we use Times New Roman in the first session, and in the second session it could be Calibri. I mean, some other font you use. It should not be like that. There should be uniformity in your font and the titles and all. It should be same. So that is very much important. It gives a very good impression on your paper. So when you are presenting the data, it should be very clear. I will show you one example. So if you see here, he has presented his data, the same journal which we were discussing previously for the graphical abstract. I have taken a picture in that paper. So he has given his data very clearly. You can see in the x-axis, the date is given, and in the y-axis, daily confirmed cases, and in the right side, total deaths are given. So it is very clear from this picture. You can easily understand what are the statistics on those states, and it is very, very clear. So when we are presenting your pictures, it should be like that. It should be properly formatted and easily understood. If it is, sometimes we don't even give a proper size, like, even if we don't give a proper caption also. That really gives a very bad impression on your paper. It should be very good, and it should be highly quality. High quality is also required when you are submitting a paper. So it should be easily understood. It should be easily conveyed to the editor and to the reader. Okay, that is one thing. And yeah, you should ensure clarity on your data presentation. That really gives a good impression on your results and things like that. And mainly, you should have ethical considerations. For example, the paper which you have written, it should preferably have 20%. Some people say 10%, but usually the norm is like if it is less than 20%, that is most acceptable percentage of plagiarism. And for that, you can use Turnitin software, and there are some softwares in online. You can use them. See, always we think that, okay, if I copy somebody else's paper, let's say, if I'm submitting to some other journal, how that person come to know? But everything is now internet. It is easy to track what we have done. So I know a faculty who worked in one of the colleges in Andhra Pradesh, and his student copied one of the paper which is already available in the internet from the journal where he has submitted the paper is already available. He got a mail from that they have copied our work and then republished the same work in another journal. So that gives a very bad impression on you. If you are submitting another journal to the same, that reputed journal or another manuscript to the same journal, they generally don't believe in you, and that gives a very a bad name to your profile. So it is always you have some ethical standards when you're working. You should have some good principles, moral values, and honesty when you are choosing a paper. It should not be like, okay, I have a pressure from HOD that okay, I have to submit a paper by this year and I can do anything. No, it's not a good way of research. That is not ethical and it is not acceptable also. If you are caught and your name will be spoiled. So we should have a good ethical values when writing the paper, and plagiarism should be taken care of. So when you are writing a paper, you should have a importance of multiple drafts, like you should have multiple drafts. And also you should discuss with your peers and mentors. Like for example, if you have a colleagues, you should discuss with them. Then only, you will get a better, what we call upgradation in your papers. Usually what happens is we are not really interested in discussing with other people, because we believe that they may copy our idea. Maybe many times we see such kind of scenarios. But it is always good to, of course, there are some situations I have seen that some people have copied other ideas and then published a paper, which is not really good ethics. But we should discuss with the other people and then get their inputs. It should be like, open discussion sort of thing, especially in Israel. The place where I am working here, everything is like, open. For example, if my guide here, if he did some experiment, he sent to some other faculty the results. And that faculty may give some more inputs about the displacement curves and things like that. And that gives a good input to my guide, which is really a good thing. That culture should be developed, and you should review it. You should multiple times. You should read the paper, so that, for example, see, if you write a paper, started writing a paper, at the end of your day, you will be tired, and the words which we are using in writing that paper are not really good actually. But if you read the same content the next day morning, we have a feeling that, okay, it should be written a very advanced way or very well written is not there. So you should have a feeling that, okay, you should change that content. So that's the reason you should multiple times, you should read your paper, review your paper, and then seek feedback from other people. And that gives a good, inputs to your paper. Yeah. And how to choose a right journal for the publication. There are a few websites. For example, you can get a Elsevier journal finder, and you have EndNote Match. You have a journal author name estimator. You have Springer journal suggester, and so on. There are many journals. This means that, for example, if you are working in environmental sciences, what you need to do is you should keep your abstract and some keywords and your title into that journal, and the journal itself gives a, some suggestions or some suggestions of the journals where you can submit your paper. So likewise, you can find out which journal is suitable and which journal is not suitable. So this is my presentation. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for giving this opportunity. If you have any questions, I am open to discuss.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jaswant, sir, for your elaborate way of explaining the tips for writing sustainable research paper like the significance of the research paper, key components, research paper practices, writing techniques, data presentation, ethical considerations, review and revision, and how to choose a right journal. Very well explained, sir. Thank you very much, which is very much useful for our UG and PG students for their ongoing research. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now it's open for discussion. If anyone have any questions, any queries, you can ask, sir. He's ready to answer your queries.
Yeah, thank you. Just one question from my side. Really, that was a eye-opening presentation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So it was a really nice presentation. It's an eye-opening to many, I believe. Just to, on one note on the Chat GPT or to use the Chat GPT, there are some journal. Actually, last week we have submitted a paper. They're specifically they are asking whether you have used Chat GPT for the preparing this manuscript or not. So what do you think, sir? So will it really if we use Chat GPT, does it anyway reduces the impact of our paper, or is it okay? That's one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to know.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Here, what I'm trying to say is,
అనుకోండి ఎవరికి ఎక్కడ తగలాల్సిన దెబ్బ అక్కడే తగ్గుతుంది కాబట్టి
Sir, Rasul, sir, please mute your. Okay, thank you. Carry on, sir.
so basically what I'm trying to say here is, it is not that, for example, I have a title, let's say, a lockdown vehicle or lockdown air pollution in India. If I write a title like that in ChatGPT, it gives some matter, and then I can take that matter and then keep in my paper. That is not good. But why or when I use ChatGPT is, I'll write my content by my own. Since my English can be improved, because since in India it is well known that our English can be improved. I have heard from many reviews and reviewers. So I use my content just to rephrase. It is only not in ChatGPT. There are some other apps also available in the internet where you can give your content and ask to rephrase it, so that it gives a better output of the wordings which you have used. That is the only way I use, and I suggest everyone to use in the same way, not to use in a other way. Like nowadays, when you are submitting a paper to any journal, they ask whether you are using ChatGPT. Their meaning is like, for the content, whole content of the paper, whether you have taken everything from ChatGPT. No, it is unethical actually. We should not do that. Already we have discussed about ethics in the previous slide, that it is only a tool to use for a better version of your English. Maybe if you are not really good at English, if you are good at English, no need to use that, or you can use some other software also. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that answer. Actually, that I wanted to know what is our limit there, and perfectly you said it. Thanks a lot, sir, for it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jaswant, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, participants, for being an integral part of this international gathering. We appreciate your active participation and enthusiasm in making this event a resounding success. We will start the valedictory session in few seconds. Over to Paul Divakar, sir.
Hello. Sir, am I audible, sir? Jalababu, sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Good evening to one and all. We welcome all the participants to the valedictory function of this prestigious international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences. So at the beginning, I want to announce one thing. At the end of the session, we will have a photo session. That is, all the participants have to share their videos so that we have a group photo. Okay. It will be nice if we have a group photo. So for this valedictory function, we have invited our RJD, Dr. C.H. Krishna Garu, for this particular valedictory function. So, first of all, I request our beloved principal, Dr. Raghunath Reddy. First of all, I request our beloved principal, Dr. B. Raghunath Reddy Garu, to be the chairperson of this prestigious valedictory function. We welcome you, sir, with great honor to be the chairperson of this valedictory function. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Next, I would like to invite today's chief guest to this August gathering, Dr. C.H. Krishna Garu, the Regional Joint Director of Commissionerate of Collegiate Education of AP, Rajamahendravaram. We welcome you, sir, onto this digital platform. Then I would like to invite the organizing team on the dais. I request our Vice Principal, Sri D. Uday Prakash Rao Garu, onto the digital platform. Thank you, sir. Then I invite Dr. R. Jalababu, the IQAC coordinator, and Dr. V. Sandhya, Head of the Department of Zoology, the organizing secretaries, on the dais. Next, I would like to call upon the other two organizing secretaries, Sri Ramesh Garu, Head of the Department of Chemistry, Sri Nalluri Srinivas Rao Garu, Head of the Department of Physics, onto the dais, sir. Thank you, sir. Then I would like to call upon Dr. Vijay Kumar, lecturer in zoology, and Srimati Jnana Prasuramba, Head of the Department of Botany, the joint secretaries, onto the digital dais. Now I would like to call upon Dr. K. Emmanuel, my friend and fellow program coordinator, onto the online platform. Oh, sorry. I would like to call upon our resource persons of this webinar, Dr. Tarun. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Rajakumar. Thank you, sir. Then I would like to invite Dr. Arul Manikandan. Thank you, sir. Next, I request Dr. Jaswant these are the 4 people who gave inspired and motivated all of us through their thought-provoking speeches and gave a lot of valuable information. So thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to call upon Dr. K. Emmanuel, my friend and fellow program coordinator, onto the online platform, and myself, the program coordinator. Thank you, sirs and madams, the organizing team and the resource persons. Last but not least, our principal and the regional joint director, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now it's time to hear the chairperson's remarks on the international webinar in this valedictory function. Sir, principal, sir, I request you to deliver valedictory functions remarks.
Sir, good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
Distinguished delegates, participants and partakers. Good evening and greetings to one and all. It is a very pleasant moment to extend my warm wishes on behalf of YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikaluru in the valedictory function. It gives me a great pleasure to grace all of your presence in the interest of the entire committee. It gives me tremendous contentment to presenting the valedictory speech amongst the most esteemed personalities in their respective fields, especially in the presence of our beloved Regional Joint Director Dr. C. Krishna Garu, CCE, Rajamahendravaram, and other dignitaries. It also gives me an immense pleasure to welcome our beloved Dr. C. Krishna Garu, Regional Joint Director, CCE, Rajamahendravaram, to deliver valedictory address of the closing this international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences. The surroundings of a physical system that may interact with other systems by transforming mass and energy are referred to as environment. The natural environment encompasses all living and non-living things. The environment is the setting in which we exist, and it is our obligation to safeguard it from harm. Environmental contamination is one of the most serious issues confronting humanity today. Environmental contamination is divided into 3 categories: air, water, and soil. In this 2 days international webinar, the resource persons have molded the young brains on the aspects of research methodology in environmental sciences. Marvelously. Also, Professor G. Gnanamouni, Vice Chancellor, Krishna University, Machilipatnam, delivered an excellent inaugural address on this same aspect. Finally, I congratulate and appreciate the organizers and the organizing departments, our college and IQAC coordinator, who took a lot of risk and responsibility to make the international webinar a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful valedictory address. Chairperson's remarks. Now, I request Dr. R. Jalababu, Organizing Secretary, to give a brief report of this particular international webinar, how it went on both days, right from beginning to this until this valedictory function. So, I request Jalababu, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. The Department of Chemistry, Physics, Zoology, Botany, in association with IQAC, has conducted a two-day international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences on 30th and 31st of January 2024. Dr. B. Raghunatha Reddy, Principal of YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikaluru, chaired the session and delivered welcome address. Professor G. Gnanamani, Vice Chancellor, delivered an inspiring speech on the topic research methodology in environmental sciences in the inaugural session. In the first session, Dr. Dolla Tarun spoke on research sustained development goals, shape your paper to sustain development goals. In the second session, Professor Rajkumar Balla, Department of Chemistry, IIT Madras, has delivered a lecture on pollution and its chemistry as threat to the biosphere. The second day started with the greetings proposed by Dr. Padma Durti, Professor Environmentalist and from the Geetham University. The first session of second day, Dr. Arul Manikandan, Postdoctorate Fellow, Dublin City University, Dublin, Ireland, acted as lead speaker in this session. He spoke on sustainable biorefining and bioprocessing of marine algae to produce edible and non-edible packaging films to combat plastic pollution. In the second session, Dr. Jashwant G, working as a technician postdoctorate fellow in the faculty of the civil engineering, and he give that is the wonderful lecture on tips and strategies for affecting academic writing and research papers. A comprehensive guide to crafting sustainability on research paper. Dr. C. Krishna RJD CCE Rajamahendravaram is now with us on the digital platform as a chief guest of the valedictory session. And he is going to deliver his message. And about that is the 500 participants comprising the students of UG and PG, research scholars, and various faculties from the different states are attend this international webinar. We have already received good response from the audience, and also they gave very good feedback. As far we have received roughly about 50 book chapters from the participants. And after the evaluation of our peer team, the selected book chapters will be published within the fortnight with ISBN number, which is useful for the faculty regarding to API score, CAS, and for NAC purpose. So thank you, sir. This is the brief report of this two-day international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences. Thank you, sir. Devakar, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jalababu Garu. Thank you for presenting a wonderful report of the international webinar. Next, I would like to call upon Dr. V. Sandhya Madam to introduce the chief guest. Before that, I want to take a photo session. Please, without disturbing the sound, you on the videos, all the participants are requested to on their videos so that we will have a group photo, because RJD sir is on his way to join this webinar. Before that, in a couple of minutes, let us all on the videos without disturbing sound. Sir, Jalababu Garu, please take a group photo, sir, for all the 5 windows. 5 windows. I mean, 3 windows are there now. Jnana Prasunamba Garu, she left. Okay, okay, madam. Okay, madam. While taking the photos, I want to announce one thing. We have extended the last date for receiving research papers or review papers to publish in a book with ISBN number. So this article should be minimized as possible as you can to 5 pages. The maximum number of pages allowed is 5 pages. Okay, with references. Then it will be published. Before publishing, our peer team will examine the paper and you will be informed so that you can pay rupees 1,000 towards paper publication. Okay, for paper. Authors may be 4 or 4. The maximum number of authors is 4. So you can share that particular amount amongst you. So this is one aspect I want to give you a notice about this thing. Next, within a fortnight or 15 days, the ISBN number book will be published. And the ISBN number book will be shared to you through the registered mail or the mail which you have sent. That is the soft copy only we are able to provide for a minimum of 1,000 rupees. Okay. Next, anyone can take the print of their paper from that soft copy. RJD sir has joined, it seems. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sandhya Madam to introduce the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Krishna Garu, the RJD. Thank you, ma'am. It's your time.
Sir, Dr. Krishna Chappadi did his post-graduation in applied zoology at Andhra University, Visakhapatnam in 1990. He got his postgraduate diploma in computer applications from Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai. He obtained his PhD in 2001 from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. He is an academician having 30 years of teaching experience. He joined as a lecturer in geology in the year 1991 at Government Degree College for Men, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. He held different positions like Reader, Principal FAC, and Principal, and now as Regional Joint Director, Rajamahendravaram. Dr. Krishna published about more than 10 papers in various national and international journals. He has presented his research articles in various international and national seminars. He has edited and wrote about 12 book chapters with ISBN number. Dr. Krishna authored a book named Environmental Geology, published by Telugu Academy, Hyderabad, and a practical manual writer of Structural Geology and Paleontology, published by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad. He acted as NSS Program Officer, Janmabhoomi District Resource Person, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University Coordinator, Indira Gandhi National Open University Coordinator, UGC Coordinator, NAC Coordinator, IQAC Coordinator, and life member of Indian Society for Technical Education. In 2003, he was a recipient of State Best Teacher Award from the Government of Andhra Pradesh. He also received Marilyn and John Ziegler Prize for Applied Geology Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, and Best Habitation Award during Janmabhoomi and Microplanning. He was nominated for several posts by the government of Andhra Pradesh, like Executive Council member from 2016 to 2019, Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajamahendravaram, Andhra Pradesh. We welcome you, sir, to give your valedictory note.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for introducing a nice person. Sir, Krishna
Thank
garu.
you, madam. Sanjay,
Good
madam.
evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Thank you and welcome to deliver your valedictory address, sir.
Good evening to all. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. B. Raghunath Reddy and his team in getting NAC A grade with CGPA 3.13 in the third cycle. I also appreciate the principal and his team for carrying out the same spirit in organizing different academic activities for the benefit of students. I am indeed delighted to participate in valedictory function of the international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences. My greetings to scientists, distinguished guests, experts, academicians, policymakers, and representatives of non-governmental organizations. I wish you all a happy, prosperous, productive, and creative 2024. When I was invited to address this international webinar, I was thinking what thoughts I can share with you in this beautiful environment. I have selected the topic for discussion, the need of the research in environmental sciences. Our nation is going through major challenges like terrorism, poverty, inflation, unemployment, and environmental pollution, etc. Out of all these problems, environmental pollution became more dangerous and it is also threat to the whole globe. We will have to provide a good soil, good quality of air, and good quality of water to the future generations. In this junction, a lot of research has been carried out to discover of new eco methods to safeguard the globe, and it is the need of our research is a systematic search for information and new knowledge. It covers topics in every field of science, and perceptions of its scope and activities are unlimited. The classical broad divisions of research are basic and applied research. The basic research is necessary to generate new knowledge and technologies to deal with major unresolved health problems. On the other hand, applied research is necessary to identify priority problems and to design and evaluate policies and programs that will deliver the greatest health benefit, making optimized use of available resources. The contamination of soil due to the presence of chemicals or other harmful particles is called soil pollution. It directly or indirectly affects our lives. Excessive use of chemicals like pesticides and fertilizers for agricultural production, mining, improper waste disposal, and acid rain are some of the major cause of soil pollution. As a result of soil pollution, the soil loses its fertility and deteriorates natural vegetation. It adversely affects the organisms residing in the soil, degrades agricultural productivity, and even results in famine. Globally, there are few solutions to solve water shortage. The solutions are redistribution of water, water recycling, and prevention of wastage, rainwater harvesting, and interlinking of rivers. What is the solution as a scientist and technologist can provide for these missions? We must find scientific solutions to these missions so the missions are executed in a cost-effective manner, maintaining the ecological balance and biodiversity. Air pollution can be identified as mixing of external harmful gases and particles in the atmosphere. It is caused by the release of contaminants like toxic gases, chemicals, and other particular matter. The impact of air pollution can be severe. It varies from person to person. Air pollution improves our lives by causing global warming, acid rain, ozone depletion, and increasing the risk of cancer, respiratory diseases, skin diseases, etc. Noise pollution is caused by the excessive amounts of noise in our environment. Noise pollution is generally man-made and it is badly affects the natural balance of our ecosystem. Any sound which is over 85 decibels is harmful to human health. Due to globalization and industrialization, the level of noise pollution in our environment has increased drastically. Some of the main contributors to noise pollution are machinery used in the industries, noise emitted by vehicles, sounds produced during construction work, noise during public festivals and social events, etc. Noise pollution has become a major issue for developed and developing nations. As a consequence, people are facing sleeping disorders, hearing loss, hypertension, stress-related illness, etc. I am very happy to see that these 2 days we have witnessed wonderful messages on the topic by young and dynamic speakers. I personally appreciate Dr. Tarun Dolla, Professor Rajkumar Balla, Dr. Arul Manikandan, and Dr. G. Jaswant for their valuable speeches. Finally, I would like the principal and the organizing committee who has given me this opportunity to share my views. I wish that in the coming days, YBNR Government Degree College Kaikalur will conduct a good number of webinars or workshops for benefit of the students and researchers. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful words on the closing ceremony. We are very much thankful to RJD, sir. Now it's to hear from the participants about their feelings by giving their feedback. So I request one or two participants to quickly unmute yourself and give your valuable sessions and feedbacks. First of all, let me call Dr. K. Srilata. Madam, Srilata, madam.
Good evening, sir. Respected dignitaries, delegates, a fine evening to each one of you present on this international platform. Dear professional friends and associates, on behalf of all the delegates participated in this 2-day international webinar on research methodology in environmental science, hearty congratulations and compliments to the entire crew of YVNR Government Degree College Kaikalur, headed by the college principal, Dr. B. Raghunath Reddy Garu, for being the driving force in successfully organizing such an interesting and very useful international webinar on research methodology in environmental science, an interdisciplinary subject, the need of the hour, which has developed itself to be imparting interdisciplinary knowledge for the benefit of diverse fields. What the world needs more of its people is to appreciate, acknowledge, and enjoy it. Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. This evening, all our hearts are joined with emotions, appreciation, and good wishes to all the highly intellectual resource persons.
Yes, madam, carry on.
Appreciation is a wonderful thing. At this juncture, I want to acknowledge today's resource persons, these 2 days resource persons, Dr. Dolla Tarun, Associate Professor, Geetham, Dr. Rajkumar Balla, Professor, Department of Chemistry, IIT Chennai, Dr. Arul Manikandan, Postdoctoral Fellow from Ireland, Dr. Jaswant G, Faculty of Civil Engineering from Israel, for enlightening all of us and promoting the students of participation at all levels. Honorable professors, our sincere thanks to each one of you for making this conference possible with your views and opinions. This conference is productive and worth your precious time, really enlightened all of us and provided few solutions to tomorrow's problems. These academic sessions made a staunch presence of conceiving upcoming trends and developmental initiatives in research, especially in the field of environment, which is significant, the concealed truths from the data in the surroundings and has not come to light directly. Hearty congratulations to the whole team of YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikalur, starting with the webinar coordinators, the backbones of this seminar or this webinar, Dr. Emmanuel sir, Dr. Paul Divakar sir, and the dynamic organizing committee members, Dr. Jalababu Garu, Dr. Sandhya ma'am, Sri Ramesh Garu, Sri Srinivas Rao Garu, Dr. Gnanaprasun Namba, and Dr. Vijay Kumar Garu. Dear science team of YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikalur, your efforts in planning this webinar have attracted a great deal of attention and praise. My sincere appreciation to you from St. Teresa's College for Women, Eluru, for your systematic and organized planning, which made this webinar a grand success. It only happened because of your hard work and your professional commitment. Your team had done an outstanding job. Finally, my beloved learning friends and learned friends, let's stand out of the crowd, enhance our necessary disciplinary topics, update and upskill our career, instill awareness and dedicate our time towards fueling a peerless aura. Make sure to keep all the balls in the air, connect, create and conquer. I want to end this day with a quote. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or at 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. So let's all keep learning and stay young always. Thank you, each one of you, for making this event a memorable one. It's really an honor to be a part of this webinar, and I thank sincerely from the bottom of my heart the organizers, especially Dr. Paul Divakar sir and Dr. Emmanuel sir, for giving me this great opportunity to present my views regarding this webinar. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your nice appreciation and you shared your feelings.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Just I want to introduce Srilata. She is a senior lecturer in physics in St. Teresa College for Women, Eluru. Just before her feedback, I have to mention these things. Anyhow, sorry, madam. Thank you very much for your wonderful feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Next, I would like to call upon some name. Dr. Narsaya. Sir. Narsaya, sir.
Thank you, sir.
He is from SBR Government Degree College, Repalle, and he is the IQAC coordinator of GDC Repalle. So unmute yourself and give your feedback, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all. I'm Narsaya, lecturer in chemistry and IQAC coordinator, Sri ABR Government Degree College, Repalle. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to Team Kaikaluru, comprising of principal, faculty members, and IQAC coordinator, and all others who took initiation to organize this international webinar on research methodology in environmental science. This international webinar on research methodologies in environmental science was highly informative and engaging. The diverse range of topics covered by resource persons, eminent resource persons, provided valuable insights into cutting-edge research approaches. The expert speakers shared their expertise, enhancing participants' understanding of environmental research techniques. The interactive sessions fostered meaningful discussions among researchers around the world. Overall, the webinar was a commendable platform for knowledge exchange, promoting advancements in environmental research methodologies. Before I conclude, I extend my heartiest congratulations to organizers, Dr. B. Raghunath Reddy Garu, Principal, Dr. K. Emmanuel sir, Dr. P. Paul Divakar sir, Dr. V. Sandhya ma'am, Dr. R. Jalababu, Srimati Y. Gnanaprasun Namba, Dr. Ramesh sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar for their meticulous planning and sheer execution to see this international webinar a successful one. So thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to present feedback on this occasion.
Thank you very much, sir Narsai Garu, for your wonderful feedback on this valedictory session. Before going to the vote of thanks, I want to just give one announcement that is regarding the feedback form you have to fill up, and be careful while filling the form. You have to give correctly the email address. If it is wrong, you are unable to get the certificate. Okay, that is one thing I want to share. And the last date for the sending research papers or review articles is February 2nd. So you can make it up and you will get a good API score and other facilities also there. So now I request Dr. R. Jalababu, the organizing secretary and the IQAC coordinator of this college, to propose vote of thanks. Sir, Jalababu, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. So before propose vote of thanks, one important announcement. So the feedback link send to your respective registered emails only, not share in WhatsApp group. So some misuse of this link, non-registered candidates also get the certificate. So that's why your registered email, the feedback link is sent to your registered emails. So thank you. After the end of this webinar, so the link shared to your registered emails. Thank you. So this is time to propose vote of thanks. The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen and even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is one such prayer among them. It considered it is great privilege propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have witnessed it is a memorable and successful event. I would like to thank the Honorable Dr. Pola Bhaskar IAS Commissioner CCE Mangalagiri, who has given permission to conduct the two-day international webinar on research methodology in environmental sciences on 30th and 31st January 2024. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude on behalf of our college. I would like to thank Professor G. Gnanamani, Vice Chancellor, Krishna University, Machilipatnam, who has delivered an inspiring inaugural address. My sincere thanks to Dr. R. David Kumar Garu, Joint Director, CCE, Mangalagiri, for his help and support at various stages. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude to Dr. C.H. Krishna, RJD, Rajamahendravaram, who graced us with his kind words. I would like to thank the principal, Dr. B. Raghunatha Reddy, YVNR Government Degree College, Kaikaluru, and Sri D. Uday Prakash Rao, Vice Principal, for their continuous and constant support in conducting this international webinar as a memorable event. I would like to congratulate my colleagues and organizing secretaries and joint secretaries for conducting the 2 days international webinar in a successful manner. Heartfelt thanks go out to all resource persons like Dr. Dolla Tarun, who is instrumental in making this webinar a grand success. I would thank Professor D. Arul Manikandan from Dublin City University of Ireland, Galway, Ireland. G. Jaswant, Techninian Institute of Israel, and Dr. Rajkumar Balla, Professor, Department of Chemistry from IIT Chennai, who are motivated us with their valuable, inspiring lecture. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of a very motivated and dedicated technical staff and non-teaching staff. I cannot thank everyone enough for involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. I would like to thank all electronic media and press. Last but not least, I thank all participants for showing their interest in this webinar. Once again, thank you very much to all assembled here. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Then, to close the valedictory function, we have to sing the national anthem, Janagana Mana. Sir Jalababu, sir. Sound radler, sir.
Sound leda?
Soundless, sir.
Okay.
हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, dear friends. Have a nice evening. And we have closed the international webinar by this time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, all the participants for attending this program and make it as a grand success. I once again thank you, each and every person, for patience hearing of all the 2 days lectures. You are going to get your certificates after filling up the feedback forms. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.